Hello, and this video is number 636. It is January 14th, 2020, and bit of a change in setup here. I gave my computer to my daughter, so I'm got my laptop here precariously balanced on top of a toolkit. My tools, my toolbox. Anyway. Just made a video about being a tomboy and spectrum floating. This video is going to be more about middle age, and I realized the other day that I may have gone through a midlife crisis. It was about a year ago, almost a year ago, in about a week or two will be a year ago, that I was informed that my company was closing a department and getting rid of a bunch of people, and I was one of the bunch. And I think it was a kind of a weird and a bad decision. Kind of cut your nose to spite your face, or however that expression goes. It was a department that bid on new business, and they got rid of the department. And how are you going to have new business if you get rid of the new business department? I don't know. Pursue new business, you need new business people. But anyway, it was not my decision. But what I'm wondering is and here's a question for you, a quick poll. Do you think transitioning, and I don't think it always ends up this way, but I think it's a factor in not a midlife crisis, but maybe an identity crisis, or what we prefer to do. I don't know, that doesn't make any sense now that I think about it. But, transitioning was an important part of what I wanted to do, obviously. And I think I could have done my job as it was post-transitioning. Definitely I did it for a number of years, or a year or two post-transitioning, and I think I could have continued to be, I worked on government proposals, I could have continued to do that post-transitioning, but our business, like I said, it changed, they changed direction a little bit, and it kind of made me unnecessary. But what I'm wondering is, maybe did I have the midlife crisis around the same time that I was doing the transitioning? And definitely the transition by itself can be enough of a midlife crisis, or what you would say a midlife crisis. Let's get away with midlife, a crisis, an identity crisis, or change. Maybe we'll just call it change, a huge change. I have a friend, Jamie, who believes that, the person she was before her transition did a job for a certain set of reasons, and then after transitioning, those reasons weren't there anymore, and so she kind of wants to be someone else to get rid of that, cut the old identity and let it drift away and do something new. And I'm wondering if that is something that maybe applied to me as well. I don't know. But I want to talk again about the midlife crisis, kind of what happened with me, change of job. My job was my identity. And I don't know if anyone has kind of been through that, where you were a job or in a position for a number of years, and it kind of became not my suit of armor, but it was how, who I was. And then that changed, and given the opportunity to do anything in the world you wanted to do, post-transitioning. And so I'm wondering if maybe a lot of what I've been going through over the last 6 months, you'll notice there was a break in the videos, I think almost 9 months, 7 or 9 months, because I got depressed. I went into a depression. I didn't feel like doing anything. I lost interest in my hobbies and everything else. And I don't necessarily think, and I kept on saying, now this isn't related to my transition. It's not related to my transition. I guess that's why I didn't make any videos at the time. But it's certainly, and what I've made in the last video, the tomboy video, I lost the desire to presentation, to make myself up every day, the makeup or and I realize that's a choice we have. It's not, doesn't mean you're any better or worse or more or less of a woman because you decide you're not going to wear makeup. But where I am now, um, some 3 to 4 years into my transition, I've gravitated back to where I was before, somewhat. And, I am the way I am naturally. I don't want to do the makeup. I'm more granola, for lack of a better word. And yet, is that a fallacy? Because I know other trans women around and about, if not more than where I am, who do that every day, who do the makeup every day, who do dress up every day, who do the earrings and the shoes. And just a couple hours ago at the grocery store, I saw this young lady who was totally beautiful, and her cardigan matched her shoes, and her blouse matched her shoes, and her purse matched the colors in both, and her belt. I mean, she totally was together. Okay. And her, she looked good and whatnot. And here I am. I don't have it handy. But I'm walking around as this, and wearing a Pokemon hat, and not giving a shit, and happy as a pig in shit, happy as a pig in mud, and who's to say she wasn't happy, too, you know what I mean? So again, I'm kind of going back into the other video now. Isn't it wonderful that we can be ourselves? But I want to focus again on the idea of a midlife crisis. I think that's something that kind of I went through. And I think maybe as part of where it ties into transitioning or being transgender is trying to figure out, hey, it's okay to get up and roll out of bed and go somewhere and do something with friends. It's okay if that's what you want to do. It doesn't make you any less of a woman, any less of a trans woman, any less of a woman to not do the things that are stereotypically female, if that makes any sense. But there was definitely a period of time where, when I was looking for a job and everything, I was like, okay, I need to step up my voice training, presentation and whatnot. And maybe that's still true, but I don't know. I feel like I'm going anywhere with this video, but we are who we are, and maybe part of my midlife crisis was realizing that I could be who I wanted to be, and it didn't really matter, and definitely that's, there are minimums. If you work in a corporate environment, if you work in a corporate office or anywhere, and the expectation is that you're going to wear a dress or hose and shoes. I mean, again, it's that expectation, it's you dress the role, you dress the part, you dress for the job. But again, with my midlife crisis, I was kind of sick and tired of that. And where I work now, for the moment, I literally can roll out of bed, go in and work, pull my hair back in a ponytail, and again, I'm happy. And maybe that's what I needed, but I didn't know that at the time. And again, it's part of that midlife. After I lost my corporate job, I went and worked for a company, basically as an administrative. Oh, we're going to pause the video. Sorry about that, telemarketer. Isn't it cool how, like, some of the time you get, sir, And some of the time you get ma'am. I have to laugh at it because for a long time I was so concerned. You can go back and watch some of the videos with my voice, but I love how sometimes you get served on the phone and ma'amed, and then if you go through the drive-through, especially, I always get ma'amed at the drive-through. I almost wonder how it used to be kind of interesting. You could say, and I'm sorry if I'm rambling, but put your opinion in the comments. Is it more important to tone and pitch for a feminine voice, or is it more of a vernacular, the words that we use? Do you think? You know, do you say hun, or do you say, not sweetie, but dear is another one. Thank you, dear. Yes, dear. Thank you. The words that we use, which is more important, do you think? If you had to choose one or the other, and obviously if you feel like you have a very gruff voice, thank you, sweetie. How does that sound? And I can't, my voice isn't flexible enough to even try to do anything falsetto-y, but, or is it more important that the words that you use, intonation would be another. I think intonation would be tone and whatnot, but I almost wonder word choice. And yet, don't we have freedom of choice? Don't we have freedom of expression? So you can't say one is more feminine than the other. I would say there are definitely some social norms. In my new job where I've been working, I do work with the general population, which I love. And a lot of the older folk, are definitely, they'll say sweetie or hun or yes dear or, ma'am, or I don't know. It's so funny. It's like reality has taken a sledgehammer to my glass house of perceptions and theories. Reality has kind of come in and kind of set the level, blew it to hell, blew my misconceptions to hell. But as far as middle age, I think a lot of my problem last year was trying to figure out kind of what I wanted to do and what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. And so that is really, I think why I'm rambling now. I don't know. There's some choices we have. When we get older. Hair color is one. I see, again, being in the general population as opposed to being in a cube, at a cube farm. Women who mess with their hair and they color their hair and they do stuff to their hair and then their hair gets thin and they don't really look good anymore. Is it better to? Well, I guess it's a matter of personal choice what you prefer to do. But when you're in your 20s, you don't have to worry about that. But when you get older, your hair gets, we get older. But anyway, I feel like I'm rambling now, and I don't mean to be. So I'm going to wrap up the video, but just say that I think a lot of my issues somewhat were midlife and trying to get over the identity, somewhat of the identity crisis. I'd worked in corporate America for a number of years, and the job that I had, that was my identity, and that job was taken away from me, and I couldn't find a similar replacement for it. And so I didn't know who I was. And so part of that, the process that had to happen is I had to figure out my new identity and who I was, which I kind of have done now. And so I go into work and I'm singing and I'm having fun and, I'm happy again. But for the 6 months, it was pretty dark. Suicidal thoughts, beyond suicidal thoughts, one step further than that. You know, I'm glad I stuck through it. Glad I survived. Happier now. All right, my friends, that's it for this video. So, till next time, good luck to you. I may make one more called Sexual Kryptonite. That's going to be my next one. So stay tuned if you want to. If you feel like I rambled, I agree with you 110%. I did. I would be very curious for your takes on thoughts of middle age, what you think middle age is. And I guess you don't really have to be middle age. Maybe identity crisis would be a better one, or I don't know. But when you get so depressed that you lose interest in everything and you isolate yourself, that's kind of what I'm talking about when I say midlife crisis. So until next time, good luck. Oop, did it again. Sorry. I've got the cover girl from the last. I keep on grabbing it and it's not a mouse. All right, until next time, good luck, and good luck in becoming the authentic self that you want to be as you define it. Okay? Don't let anyone tell you what's right or wrong. You find out for yourself, okay? And until next time, goodbye. Good luck.